welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to explore using IPadapter and Controlnet to combine posing with specific poses from OpenPose. This will allow us to take the articles of clothing that we want and apply them to a character that you want to pose and dress up in a particular way, or you want to use the articles of clothing in e-commerce and you want to have a consistent pose throughout all the images. This video is also part of a series that I'm putting together to compare different techniques of applying clothing to AI characters. If you haven't checked out my previous video, please check it out here, where we cover a different IPadapter technique and combine up to 3 articles of clothing using embeds. Today we're using a different IPadapter technique, so even if you've watched it, I suggest you stay tuned. So let's get plugged in. Let's go through each section bit by bit so we understand what's going on. So as usual, I've prepared a workflow here for us to go through with each of the key components that help us achieve our objectives. Over here on the left, I've grouped up the base nodes, which consist of the checkpoint loader, the 2 prompt nodes, as well as a primitive here that handles the seed management. I've currently got it set to randomize as I was iterating through a few generations. You might also notice I've got a new node here, which I'll get into in just a moment. Then over here, we've got the Controlnet nodes, and I've loaded up here an image that we will be using as the reference for our pose. And because I'm using SDXL, I'm using OpenPose Pose. The Controlnet model I'm using is OpenPose XL2, and then we're feeding that into the Apply Advanced Controlnet. And then just down here, I have a little sanity check group which takes the Controlnet pose that I'm doing and just generates out an image for me just to make sure that it's working okay. You may also note that my K-sampler looks a little bit different. If you check out my recent video about AYS, Align Your Steps, this is a different technique that you can use with K-sampling that gives slightly better results in terms of image fidelity with half the number of steps. If you're interested, you can check out the video here. I have changed out using K-sampler to this approach with almost all of my generations as I'm just so much happier with the results. So once we're comfortable with our Controlnet, I have here 2 groups for 2 different types of situations. The group up here is for only 1 article of clothing, typically a dress, or maybe you just want a jacket, or you just want to replace a single article of clothing. You can do that up here. And what we do is we grab the image, feed it into IPadapter using a relatively standard approach, feed it into a sampler custom, which again, I'm using AYS, and we get the result. Pretty good. And we can see here the model is following the pose from the reference image, right? You've got the hand over here, the hand coming down the back, more or less what is shown over here. We've got the same pose. And then over here, I have the application for 2 articles of clothing, and we'll get into it in a little bit because we have made a few changes compared to how we've worked before. So before continuing on, I just want to point out this little node over here called Fast Groups Muter by RG3. And what this allows us to do is actually allows us to turn off different groups. So we can see here, enable one piece, yes, and you'll see here the node light up. If I want to turn it off, it turns it off. So this is a really good way to have 2 or 3 different directions that you want your workflow to go on, and you can turn them off and on as you need. So if you're using 1 article of clothing, you can go ahead and turn it on and turn off the 2 article one. When I release this, I will rename it to 2 piece. And so on and so forth. And same thing, if you want to turn off the sanity check, you can do that over here, especially if your GPU is not too big on memory, you're running into memory losses, or you just want to move things a little bit faster and you don't need that, you can turn that off. So what is happening here in this group? So there's a couple of things that I want to go over, some new concepts that we haven't covered before that could be very useful, especially if you're having difficulty in using multiple articles of clothing with your character. So we've got the 2 reference items here. In this case, we have a shirt and a pencil skirt, and both of these are being fed in via a unified loader, which feeds into IPadapter Advanced. So if we just pull this out, we'll see here on the Advanced IPadapter, the unified loader comes in here. The input to the unified loader is model, which I've just got on this rerouter just for ease of cleanliness. So model goes into unified loader goes into IPadapter, the IPadapter node feeds into this here. For the second image, we again have the unified loader, and what we're doing here is we're just feeding in the IPadapter from the previous unified loader in here. This helps save resources as it doesn't reload all of the models. And then from the previous IPadapter Advanced, we grab the model and feed it into the unified loader. And then from here, we feed it into a second IPadapter Advanced. So both model and IPadapter, they both go in there. Coming back to the first IPadapter Advanced, this is where we feed in the image. So we feed that in. In the second one, we feed in the pencil skirt. So that goes in here. And up until this point, everything has been pretty standard. If you've watched my other IPadapter video, we more or less cover the same thing. The main difference here is you'll notice we've also got this additional image down here. Now, what we're doing here is we are helping the IPadapter understand where each article of clothing goes. And to help you understand what is going on, let's first set our seed to fixed so that we can be sure that the changes that we're making are a result of that and not because of a seed change. So let's run this one more time. Okay, so we've run it one more time, and this is the reference image that we've gotten. It's not the best. There's a lot of issues with it, but it will serve our purposes for now to understand what these images over here do. So to first see what happens without these images, I'm going to disconnect them from the IP adapters. So let's go ahead and delete these strings, and let's run it again to understand what's happening. And you can see here that without those images, the final result is an absolute monstrosity. So to understand what's happening, we're actually taking a mask from these images. So I'm going to come in here and I'm actually going to mask out the shirt. Okay, so I've masked it out. I haven't done a great job, but once again, to get you to understand what's happening here, this is good enough. And then what we're going to do is just feed in the mask to the attention mask. And we'll do the same with the bottom image. Then in the mask editor, and then we'll just go ahead and mask out the skirt. Save to node, and then we will just feed in the mask into the IP adapter. And let's run it again. And voila, we're now back to the image that we had before. So what is going on here? Well, IPadapter uses masks a little bit differently than the K-sampler. When we plug in a mask from a load image into IPadapter, it's actually called an attention mask. And what we're doing is we're telling IPadapter to pay attention to this part of the reference image. So in this case, what we're doing is we are feeding in a shirt, and then we're feeding in a full image of a woman with a similar outfit to what we want to achieve. We're highlighting the shirt, and we're basically telling IPadapter, hey, this item that I want you to pay attention to that you're going to be applying to the image, this is the kind of space that it should occupy. So essentially what we're doing is we're telling IPadapter that the shirt is a shirt and this is where a shirt goes. And the same thing is happening with the skirt. To illustrate my point, we're going to try a different reference image, mask it out, and you'll understand how the reference image that you choose can significantly impact the final output. Okay, so we've picked out another image that kind of has the same look as what we're going for. I haven't pre-tested this image. I just grabbed it now, so I have no idea what the result is going to be. So we're going to figure it out together. Like before, let's go ahead and grab the image, mask out the area that we want. Now, if you think this masking out part is very tedious and you are not particularly interested in having this approach, stay tuned. I will cover another node that I have put in here that actually automates this whole thing for you. So stay tuned. We'll cover that in just a moment. And then we'll come here and grab this one. And then we run it. Okay, so to fix that error, improve on that error, because it's still not totally fixed, I went ahead and added in shirt tucked in and pencil skirt to the prompt, and that made a significant difference. We can actually see here in the sanity check, it's actually a pretty good image. And I find that this is actually really useful because it shows you what the prompt is achieving without the IP adapter, which then allows you to take the IP adapter and fine tune it based on what you get here, meaning that the IP adapter is actually building on this. So let's have a look and understand what's happening. And first of all, as I said earlier, the reference image can have a huge impact on the final output. In this case, we're still not getting quite what we want, and we can start to adjust the weight types and weight size to try and achieve our desired result. One of the big things that you can do to really help you out is adjusting the weight type. And again, I cover this in my IP adapter video. I have a phenomenal toolkit that you can use to actually run an image through and see what the output will be for each of these weight types. If you haven't checked it out, I really suggest that you do. But at this point, it's a matter of experimenting to see what gives you the desired results. So here we're kind of happy with the shape. Some things still need to be adjusted, but again, those can probably be done at the prompt level. So if we say pink shirt tucked in, pencil skirt over the knee, and there we go. We've now got the color back, but we're still not quite where we want to be. So as you can see, we're still not getting a decent result. So we're going to try something a little bit different. I have actually gone and downloaded the sanity check image that we got earlier, and we're going to try and use that as the attention mask reference. I'm also going to use the opportunity to show off the automated system that I had talked about earlier, and that is this series of nodes called Segment Anything. It's pretty simple. It's a collection of 3 nodes. You grab the grounding dyno SAM segment, the grounding dyno model loader, a SAM model loader, and you just wire them up. So the SAM model into SAM model, grounding dyno into grounding dyno. We plug in the reference image, tell it what we're looking for. So here I've typed in shirt, and it will actually return both the shirt cutout and a mask of the shirt. In this case, we just want the masks. And those eagle-eyed of you might have actually noticed I have a preview image here to check that the mask is working. So I have the same thing down here. We grab the mask output, feed that into the attention mask. I've typed in skirt, queue it up, and you'll see how the mask is automatically generated, meaning we don't have to go in and manually paint in the mask. And there we go. So the reason that I suspect that this has worked is because the reference image that we are using with the sanity check is very close to the final image that we want because of the Controlnet. And what this does is, even though the sanity check is pretty close to the final output that we want, obviously the shirt color and texture is all wrong, the skirt color and texture is all wrong. By using the IP adapter and these reference images, this brings us significantly closer to what we want. Now, if you watched my previous video, you might be asking, why would we use this technique over the previous one where we took multiple images, combined them into embeddings, and fed them through here? In my experimentation, I was not able to get that approach to behave properly with Controlnet. So if you're using Controlnet, this is a better approach. Now, depending on your use case, you may or may not find this suitable for e-commerce. The results do vary depending on the reference image that you use, as you've seen here. Obviously, the quality of the input image also matters, as well as the pose that you provide. The simpler it is, the better results you're going to get. The more complex the pose is, the more challenging the results. If you're a Patreon supporter, you will have access to this second version of the workflow, as well as a collection of poses that I will make available to you guys, as well as a few articles of clothing that you can experiment with. So it's all ready to go. So what did you guys think? The technique is not perfect, and it depends a lot on the pose that you have, as well as how you set up the attention masks. However, with a little experimentation, I think you can probably get slightly better results than those in our previous video. So you can see the difference in the two techniques using the same article of clothing. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. And if you really want to support the channel and get access to the full versions of the workflow, which includes applying the Controlnet to 2 articles of clothing, as well as upscaling and face replacement, please come and check out the Patreon. Your support there is absolutely essential, as my patrons help cover the cost of the channel, and it helps me to continue to create this content. Thanks, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.